This is not what I wanted. But I will stand here with you. For an hour. A day, a year. While you find a way to accept this outcome. So that we might leave here together. For if not, then I must end this another way.
Welcome to the Black Sails Rap Party with Nikki and Steven React, where we come together today to talk, chat, and celebrate this epic series. Let's crank it up. It's the Black Sails Rap Party with your hosts, Nikki and Steven.
We are starting Black Sails. Let's go.
Oh, good.
Oh,
yes!
shit!
Bitch! Yes! So fucking good!
Oh,
fuck!
Shit!
Oh, shit! Oh, goddamn! Yeah, bitch! Fucking yeah! This is such a good show. Oh, bitch.
Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes doesn't work here anymore.
Oh, shit!
What the fuck, dude?
Oh, he fucking cut his head off. Oh, bitch.
Charles Vane is freaking insane. What the fuck?
Pull the fucking lever with my own two hands!
Whoa, what the fuck?
Oh, no! 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 Oh, no!
Get on with it, motherfucker.
Oh, what?
No, 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 it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. I didn't know I could just die right now.
Resistance in Nassau is now underway.
What the fuck?
Look at this. Oh my god, there's like the muscles are coming out of his fucking skin.
What the fuck?
No. Ah! Ah!
I'm in shock. I can't believe what we just watched.
I tried to save it. No.
Is that how Eleanor dies? Holy shit! Oh, bitch!
Oh! Okay. Ah, shit. I was not expecting that. I kind of thought about it a little bit, but...
John fucking Silver, let's go!
Godspeed, Charles.
Fuck you, Jack.
I need that on a shirt. Fuck you, Jack.
I mean, would you expect anything else from Vane? That was perfect.
You gotta hand it to him.
He got his ass handed to him.
He had his hands full. He came in handy. Hands off, man. He was a handyman. He did a handsome job.
Yes, dude! Responds with a fart. I love this guy.
Maybe bring it all down.
Sign me up, let's go!
I'm ready to fight.
Holy shit, Flint is fucking incredible, dude.
You tell him I'm coming!
To make order of chaos. Though I will come back from the dead and lay claim to what I am owed.
I just got the chills.
fucking
I just got the chills.
Love this dude.
Well, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen?
I fucking love this guy.
Long John Silver.
No fucking way. That's a real name. Oh my god! Oh, this is so good!
I love being shocked. I love when a story does such a good job with its unpredictability, and then the reveal is just like,
Yeah, buddy! Alright! Okay, that's fantastic! They were having a three-way! Yeah, buddy! Okay!
he loves him.
That makes so much more sense!
Your father aids us from his position in Nessa.
Oh!
He might have lived among these men. He may have fought beside these men. He may have even called some of these men friends.
What? It's a love story. Let's get on with it, motherfuckers.
I'm crying. Oh. I'm crying right now.
See, she already screwed up the whole process.
Sorry.
Welcome to the rap party for Black Sails. That intro will literally get you every single time. I had so much fun editing that. How do you feel after watching that?
I'm a little teary-eyed because of the last scene. I'm sorry. I'm already off the rails.
Already off the rail. That's going to be the common theme probably for the entire, everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
But we got a structure for this. We're going to hit some general thoughts. Then we're going to get into some topics. And then, kind of like a live show, we're going to take questions and comments from those who are live watching with us.
The audience.
The audience. But generally, I will go to bat for this show as often as I possibly can, because this is literally the most underrated television show I can personally say I have ever seen.
Word.
And not enough people have watched it. Not enough people talk about it. Not enough people give it the credit it deserves. It legitimately deserves to be in the conversations with Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad, which are two of the other greatest shows of all time that we've watched,
Yes.
in my opinion. I think the storytelling is flawless.
Yes.
It is just so perfect. The way everything just gets weaved into themselves, and the story from like season 1, it gets touched on in season 4, and you could tell that there was like a starting point, there was an ending point, they had a point A and a point B, and they knew exactly how they were going to get there, and you could just tell.
Yes.
The ending was absolutely spectacular. They stuck the landing. A lot of shows can't say that. Most shows that I've seen can't say that. I mean, some of the shows are getting kind of a opportunity to redo that, like Dexter, for example.
Yes, that's
But
true.
like Game of Thrones didn't stick the landing. True Blood didn't stick the landing. There's a lot of shows that we've seen that didn't stick the landing.
That's true.
Breaking Bad stuck the landing. That's why
also true.
That's why it gets billing as best show of all time.
I have no debates so far.
But the way, and I think this is a really unique thing for Black Sails as a general thought, but their use of flashbacks. I think the use of flashbacks was probably the best I've ever seen in any piece of content I think I've ever watched.
They were important. Each one made sense. Each one had a purpose. You didn't see anything by accident.
It always kind of drove, because it started in season 2, and they drove, whether it was in like an episodic style flashback that would build towards a moment at the end of the episode, or if it was a series long, like in season 2, it enhanced the story so much, and it's just, I think it's part of what made the storytelling so perfect. And their reveals. Mm-hmm. Their reveals were amazing.
Yes.
They were able to keep you guessing it was almost an impossible show to predict. Like, looking back at some of the stuff, even from that little highlight video, there were things that played out, and maybe it's obvious if you go back and rewatch stuff. Mm-hmm. But like, watching it on the first time, I legitimately don't think you could possibly predict some of the stuff that happened. The deaths, the just reveals of the characters and their intentions and their life and what they've done and who they really are, and it's just absolutely insane. And that's why I will always personally put it on the same level as Game of Thrones as my favorite show.
Yes.
And on the same level as Breaking Bad as one of the best shows.
Best written, yeah.
Just because the storytelling is so flawless from start to finish. And
agreed.
It's just one of those things where, again, whether you like it or not, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to try to get you to watch the show. It's not even to go watch our reactions, but you should definitely go watch our reactions. But it's just to get that cast. The cast was amazing.
Oh, yes.
The actors and the stories and just the way they portrayed everything was amazing. They deserve the recognition that I think the show it deserves. It deserves best of all time type of treatment. So those are kind of some of my general thoughts. We're going to jump in. We've got 4 topics that we're going to hit.
Yes.
And then we're going to go through some more live questions and kind of just go from there. And Nikki's going to take over, and we're going to bounce back and forth, and we're going to see how this goes.
Oh, God.
And topic 1.
Topic 1 from Hopefully Ever After. Thank you so much for your questions, you guys. Do you believe the story Silver tells about Flint's end, finding Thomas, or do you think it was just a lie and Silver did end him on the island? I feel that it plays to the qualities of Silver himself. We know that there is always a chance he is lying, but we want to believe him, such as the power of Long John Silver. Good question. Thank you.
I think when you finish this show, that is by far the biggest discussion point that you could come out of. Did John Silver kill Flint? Did Flint get to have his happily ever after with Thomas? I'm going to side with the idea that the happily ever after played out.
No, that's my ending for reals, because...
But...
Go word.
But...
What?
There's a
what?
but.
There's
the more...
Big but.
The more I kind of watch the end of that episode and the way everything wrapped up...
La 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 la, I don't hear anything.
I don't think Silver let Flint walk.
No, I
some of the stuff, some of the conversations, there were some very specific lines in there that made me think otherwise. The way it was filmed was kind of hazy. The colors were a little off. It felt very much like a dream sequence.
No. Nope.
But it's too good of a story to not want to believe it. And the fact that Long John Silver is probably the greatest storyteller we've ever met.
It's true.
The biggest liar we've ever met.
It's true.
Everyone in this show did some pretty insane things for their narrative and their goals and their storylines to play through. I wish I can say Flint had his happy ending, but I don't think think Long John Silver let him.
There is nothing that you're gonna tell me that's like he didn't survive, because no. La 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 la. I hear nothing. Nothing. No. Flint and Thomas are together forever until they actually die together, Notebook style, holding hands in a bed somewhere, because they need to be together, living, and then dying together forever, being with one another, loving each other, because we love here. And I will also go with the happily ever after, hopefully ever after, all the things. You can't tell me that Silver killed him, even though I know that it's quite a possibility, but
I think there was a gunshot.
No!
I think there was a gunshot.
I didn't hear shit. No.
I mean, let's be real here. Let's be completely honest. The way that story wraps up, it's too fucking beautiful for it to not be real. It's a beautiful story. How is that not real?
I mean, we can also go into the whole, like, Maddie Silver, you know, thing because... Paul! I'm gonna fucking kill you right now.
Off the rails, like I said.
Sorry, off the rails. Edit that out.
It's one of those things where the romantic in you absolutely wants it to play out, but I feel like the realist, if you actually go back and watch and listen to the stuff that was said and the things that played out.
I know. He wanted the revolution. The revolution meant so much more than anything that Silver, I think, could comprehend, because Silver was all about Maddie, and it's like, no, even Maddie was all about the revolution. You're not paying attention, apparently, and there's nothing that you can say to that woman that's gonna be like, it's all good, right? I just loved you, that's all.
But I'm on your side. That's the one I want.
I want it so badly. You saw how hard I was crying. I cry every single time I see that scene again because it's so... I was shaking in anticipation of hoping that Flint was going to see Thomas and love Thomas, and just Thomas seeing Flint, and it's just like they've been separated for so long and they can't wait to see each other.
The moment that John Silver and Max had that conversation and the light bulb went off, I don't think you've wanted anything more in a show that we've ever watched, ever.
God, no.
I think when that became a possibility, I legitimately don't think in anything that we've ever watched, you wanted something to play out more.
Yes.
I like, that was just such an
shame.
absolutely insane just storyline, the reveal, the way it played out. And we've got another topic that'll kind of lead to that in a little bit, but absolutely incredible.
But that is a good statement also. Flint died. McGraw lived.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes. So topic number 2 from Rachel Espiritu. Hopefully I said that correctly. When all was said and done, Flint, Silver, Max, and Jack all more or less got their happy endings. Do you think having such a relatively clean ending made the show more satisfying, or were you hoping for some darker turns and subverted expectations?
For me, I generally will side towards the whole darker thing. Like, for other shows, I wanted the darkest possible ending possible. But for this show, I think the way it played out was exactly the way it needed to play out. I think the way it ended, I think the way everyone essentially got what they deserved and earned, I think it's amazing. And I was beyond satisfied when the final episode dipped to black and it was over. I had no negative thoughts at all when it ended. And I'm generally not like the most, happy ending, yay, everybody got their stuff. But with this show, I thought it was perfect. The way it wrapped up, and I made a joke about this like 3 or 4 episodes before the finale, that Jack was gonna stand tall at the end. I was kind of saying that as a joke, but when it's Jack and Anne standing there and they kind of walk away from the flag, which became like the symbol for pirates, that was I'm getting chills talking about it right now. That felt like such an amazing moment, that Jack got everything I feel like he ever wanted. And Jack was such an amazing character, so likable, so much fun. All he wanted was his legacy to be told by people so far past his death, and I feel like he's getting that. He got that. Everything the way it played out with him and Anne, and the Flint and Silver thing, I think it was more than satisfying.
2 things. Vane, although I didn't want him to die. I totally understand why he had to die. I totally get it. I feel as though he died in vain. Because revolution didn't happen. That's the one part, kind of pissed. You know, Silver, you fucked him over on that.
Well,
But-
I feel like Billy was more the
That was the other
kind
thing.
of, he screwed things up a little bit more.
I wanted Billy to die a brutal death. And I didn't get that very much.
He's just kind of standing there, kind of all by himself on Skeleton Island.
Yeah.
The
I mean, it could have been brutal, but I don't know.
the Vane death, I feel like, well, Vane and Eleanor specifically, I feel like both their deaths were perfect. Under the circumstances of what we were watching and the way things were playing out.
Oh, one more thing. Woods Rogers needed to be scraped under that fucking boat. That was number,
Jack was in
that
charge,
was the
though.
third
It wasn't
one.
going to happen.
I understand, and Jack's not like that. Jack's not that dude. Woods Rogers is that dude. But he needed to be scraped under that boat like Teach.
Yeah.
At least one time.
He wouldn't have made it one time.
Damn right.
At least I don't think he would have made it one time.
Hell to the no.
But I feel like the deaths that we saw play out in this show, fantastic deaths.
Oh.
They were huge.
Yeah.
They were impactful. Some of them were shocking. And the happy endings, I thought were great. I thought it wrapped up this show perfectly. I think the people who got the happy ending, it fit the story and it fit their character arcs. And overall, I just thought it was I thought it was a flawless end. I thought it stuck the landing. I thought it was fantastic.
That was my only thing is the Vane thing. Vane would be so pissed. Pissed.
It would have been interesting to see Vane towards the end with everything that was playing out to see how he would have handled things.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Still fighting with Eleanor, probably.
Probably.
And then topic 3 from Charlotte. I'd just like to thank you guys for the awesome reaction to my favorite series of all time. I'm curious if you feel differently towards any characters now that you know their full arcs.
I think the one character that I might have been a little harsh on, that I might give a little bit more leeway, is maybe Eleanor.
Yeah.
I don't think Flint's arc, I don't think much changes in my mind about him. I don't think much changes about Silver. Regardless of how the end plays out and however you want to interpret it, I don't think my opinion of them changes much because I think they're both amazing, and I feel like there was some pretty good consistency between them and their motives for the most part. I mean, we're talking about pirates. So in reality, none of them are good. You don't realistically root for any of them. But I feel like Eleanor potentially, like the way her death gave us a little bit of redemption for her, maybe like a smidge, because she made an effort to save Maddie, even though Maddie lives. We don't know if it was Eleanor that saved her or if it was Billy that got her out.
I don't know.
But we don't know exactly to what extent.
Who did what?
Like, how far did Eleanor get her out of there? But I always understood and respected her arc, and she was on a roller coaster ride. Eleanor's an amazing character. I just didn't like all the decisions she made. Sure. I didn't like the certain betrayals that she made, whether they were betrayals or not, in your opinion or whatever. But the way she never flip-flopped on her main objective.
That's true.
But she would kind of flip-flop on people. And like the whole Vane stuff, and like there were certain scenarios. So I think if I had to pick one character that I might feel a little differently after the fact, I think it might be Eleanor.
I would have to agree with you, although for some time I really wanted Eleanor and Vane to be together, but that was a toxic relationship and it just wasn't going to work out. But yeah, I would say the Eleanor as well. I would agree.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like we were harsh on. I feel like our criticisms were very, very worthy.
I went back and forth with her. At first I loved her, and then I fucking hated her, and then I kind of liked her again, and then I really hated her again at the very end.
I think the decision while Woods Rogers was sick to hang Vane, I mean, it was probably inevitable that it was going to play out that way.
At this point, I feel like Woods would have done something way worse.
Potentially.
I mean, after we found out what Woods Rogers' narrative is versus who Woods Rogers really is,
right?
He would have done way, way worse.
Not the guy in the book.
Yeah, the guy in the book is, he's a gentleman. feels like in comparison.
He's an absolute monster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still don't necessarily love her actions and how things wrapped up with her, but I would probably give her a little more leniency in terms of how critical I was of her. I just didn't like her that much. I understood her very well. I understood what her goals and her motives were.
I liked her goals.
I just didn't like her way of going about it. And I mean, the fact that her death was even basically foreshadowed in season 1 it just goes to show how incredible the story is.
Right. But
her story was tragic. The way it all played out and just the way everything happened with her, it was a tragic story. And if I was in her mind, I don't know, I couldn't say I would do anything differently. But, you know, as a viewer of the show watching, she just wasn't my favorite. There were other characters that I preferred more. But to answer the question, I think I would feel a little different. I'd give her a little bit less kind of criticism.
You know who I love, though? Maddie and Mr. Scott. Oh my god.
I mean, Mr. Scott.
Their characters, I mean, I can't even express verbally I just loved their strength, their perseverance, those were so, Mr. Scott especially. Well, everything that he did behind the scenes, basically raising and sustaining an entire island of people.
Yeah. That reveal made him essentially a high tier side character into a massively important main character because of how much was at stake, how much he was responsible for. I mean, we were with him from the beginning all the way to his death, and his impact, and when it was revealed who he actually was, and that's what I was talking about with the reveals. His reveal was not something that even when we met Maddie and her mom, not one thing even ever clicked, oh, that's probably Mr. Scott's family. No, that doesn't click at all. And that reveal and just his development and his arc was just, I want to use the word epic. His story and the fact that he was able to keep it hidden and still manage to get all those resources and all that stuff to that island for all those years, that's bonkers.
Yes.
So, I mean, his stock skyrocketed in one episode from high tier side character to holy shit, this guy is incredible.
And Maddie, I think you did Daddy proud.
Oh, Maddie was amazing.
Yes.
She was an amazing character in the show. Just her strength, like you said, was just unreal. The fact that she didn't let love, John Silver, get in the way of
that part.
Eye on the prize.
I was like, Silver, can you not see Maddie's side? Can't you? That part drove me a little nuts.
I mean, it makes sense.
Okay, you love her, but what does she love? Can you not love what she loves? Can you not believe in what she believes? Can you not fight for what she wants to fight for? You guys are supposed to be on the same team.
He got blinded by the booty love.
Oh my god. On to topic 4 from Jay. Thank you, Jay. If you were a pirate, which crew would you want to sail with?
This is fun.
The Walrus with Flint, Silver, Gates, Billy, etc., or the Ranger with Vane, Jack, and Ann?
That's easy for me.
What?
Vane, Jack, and Ann.
Really?
I feel I think I like.
Might be a lot less death.
I think I like the other side in terms of favorite characters from top to bottom, because I mean we're talking about Flint and Silver, but knowing what we know, that's too much shenanigans for me.
True.
Flint and I would be scared to be around really any of these folks except maybe Jack. I would be afraid being, and obviously we know what we know, but being a crew member you wouldn't know what we know.
Right.
But I think Vane, Jack, and Ann, I think that'd be a lot more fun. I think being with that crew would be more fun.
Yeah.
Just more, I feel like there'd be like more adventures. Like Vane wasn't a bullshitter, so he always like, you always would probably know where he stood, and if he didn't like you, you'd be probably dead. But like,
I feel like you could do more negotiations with Vane to an extent before he just like murdered everyone.
With Flint and Silver, and obviously this is hindsight knowing what we know, you would never know. Like, he would like tell you like, oh yeah, we're cool, and then you'd end up dead in like 2 minutes later. So like, I don't know.
True.
I don't know. Like, he was wild in a sense that if you got at all in the way of what he was driving towards, you get in the way of his goals, he's gonna take you out. It didn't matter how close you were to him. So I definitely wouldn't want to be a random crew member on Flint's crew.
No, well, and then what if you don't? What if you're not a random crew member? What if you get close to Flint at all? You're dying. You're dying.
Yeah, it's so wild. Like, but yeah, I think I would pick Vane, Jack, and I think I think that crew would be more fun. I think you'd do more cool shit.
You know what? I want to be with Teach and Vane.
I mean,
and Jack and Ann, but like Teach has to be there.
Teach is Blackbeard.
I really liked him and his relationship with Vane.
I mean, another thing this show did amazingly was introduce characters. Blackbeard and his introduction was just like, you kind of just sat back and were like, oh damn, who's this fucking dude?
Yes.
Those 4 big ass dudes walked into his little office area.
Was it 3 or 4?
Was it 3 or 4? Whatever. There were a bunch of big ass dudes walked into his little office wanting to kill him. And this dude was cool. He was calm. And he smoked those motherfuckers. And it was just like ruthless. And then the way just like his story went and the relationship with Vane, just the whole like father and son thing was such a strong story. And the way he died was probably one of the more vile, insane, just hard to watch things I've ever seen in my entire life.
That was really tough.
And he took that shit like a G.
He saved his entire crew.
He saved everyone.
Many times over. He saved everyone.
He went under that ship 3 times?
Yes, the fact that he didn't die, that says a lot. He cared so much. He held on to life so that the rest of his crew would not suffer.
Yeah, Woodes Rogers was going to do that to everybody.
Yes. And
we heard the story.
Jack or Ann was going to be next.
That was just, I don't know how many people ever existing on this planet could take that more than one time.
Dude, halfway down, I'd be like, I'm out.
And the sounds. The sound of his body, like, scraping on the coral on the bottom of the ship was just, oh my god.
The sound is disgusting. That will haunt me forever.
It's just so insane. But yeah, especially if you threw Teach on that list, definitely Vane, Jack, and Ann would be my selection for, you know, the Walrus crew.
Word. So we are done with our topics, and now we can move on to patron comments and questions. I need the list, sir.
I don't know where they went.
Right there. So from Drew, Black Sails is my favorite show of all time. You two easily had the best reactions I've seen. Flint is my favorite TV character of all time. Who are your favorites? Thank you so much for being awesome.
No, wait, we have a...
Thank you, Drew. What?
We have a super chat.
Oh. Favorite episode. Sandy, thank you for the question about the favorite episode.
I think the finale might have been my favorite episode.
Oh, mine for sure, you know.
I mean, because the way the story was wrapped up and the way things played out, it's almost impossible not to pick like one of the greatest finales of all time as the best episode. I mean, there were, like, from season 2 to the end, there wasn't a bad episode.
Yeah.
So it's a really difficult thing to pick.
Yeah.
But because finales are so hard and so many shows have had trouble doing it, and I loved the way it ended, I legitimately think the finale was probably my favorite episode. It's such a hard thing to pick.
You know it's mine. I needed that. I needed to see it so bad.
So insane, just the way the story got wrapped. I thought it was perfect. Do you want
me to read that again?
Now we'll jump into more questions and comments from our patrons.
You want me to read it now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, again from Drew. Black Sails is my favorite show of all time. You two easily had the best reactions I've seen. Flint is my favorite TV character of all time. Who were your favorites? Thank you so much for being awesome. Thank you again, Drew. Thank you.
That's hard. If I had to pick one character, it would probably be Flint, because his story arc and his just character development was just absolutely incredible. Just the stories about learning about McGraw and him retiring McGraw, and just the trauma. Like, all these characters went through insane trauma, but the trauma that he went through, and then the way it wraps up, just so, like, he was a monster. The way he handled business, this dude was a beast. And it just made for such entertaining television, amazing storytelling. I think I gotta pick Flint, with Long John Silver being a super close second.
That was my answer, you jerk.
I stole your answer.
How dare you?
I feel like that's a lot of people's answers, probably.
He was his capacity for love, it was so deep. It was when oh my God, his love for Thomas was everything.
That kind of stuff doesn't exist.
No,
On
not
that
like
level.
not like that. Not in that way. Not that hard. No. That was it. Just I love his voice. I love his character. I love his never give up attitude.
Dude, his dialogue and his monologues and his quotes.
Yes. What did you think was gonna happen?
What the fuck did you think was gonna happen? I mean,
I love it.
he had so many
Yes.
epic
No
lines.
shame. That was Thomas, though.
He was probably the best written character I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Just everything that came out of his mouth ever mattered. It was all important. It all had purpose. It all drove towards a singular goal that he had in mind. And it was just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And his flashbacks, which kind of started the whole flashback love for me, was him learning about James McGraw and learning where he came from and how he developed into Captain Flint.
Well, and
incredible.
how he met Miranda and how
Just
Miranda
all of it.
introduced him to Thomas, and I just love it. From Jay, thank you so much. Jay, you had a bunch. Thank you so much. Now that you know the ending is left open to multiple interpretations, how do you feel about the open nature of it?
Love it. I absolutely love it. It feels unique. It feels creative. And the fact that it's one of those things that would normally drive me absolutely insane. Be like, wait, what really actually happened? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Even if you think that they died a brutal death, it's still a beautiful ending. I mean, I don't want to see their brutal death. But, like, you don't know if Thomas was murdered. You just, I mean, they went off to a ranch somewhere. It sounds like, when the pet dies, the family pet dies. They ran away. You never know. But I feel like no option is wrong.
And I just love the fact that we could sit here all these years after the show's over, many, many years into the future. We could talk about it. We could discuss it. We could debate it. And no one's really wrong until the creators of the show decide to come out and be like,
you're wrong.
Yeah, Flint's dead.
You're wrong.
Like, then
I would have to come back with no, you're wrong.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where I would, under normal circumstances, I think that would drive me nuts, because I like having a kind of final resolution to all stories. But you have it. Whichever side you want to believe on,
I appreciated I appreciated that they showed you Flint with Thomas. Whether they're dead together or whatever, they're together. And that's all that matters to me right now. I just want them to be together because they love each other so much.
I think that's the important thing.
Another one from Jay. Where does this show stack up for you guys? For me, this show was level with Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad after my first watch and is now easily number 1.
I think you guys know where I put it. I've been banging the drum for this show for a long time. And I think it's number 1 underrated. Most underrated show I've ever seen. I think it absolutely is 1B with Game of Thrones as my favorite. It's 1B as best show of all time. And that kind of makes it one, like, probably, like, if you do the math, because I think Game of Thrones is my favorite. I think Breaking Bad's the best. But I think Black Sails is on the same level of both of those. It's hard not to say it's my favorite show. It's a really difficult thing to do because Game of Thrones was absolutely incredible and epic, which is why I don't know if I'll ever commit to the idea that I love something more than Game of Thrones. But Black Sails deserves to be in that conversation.
Mine is all recency bias. I am all down for Black Sails all day. It's everything.
It'll be interesting to see how my opinion of everything kind of evolves, I guess, over the years.
Yeah.
But
to keep watching it.
I also didn't hate. Yeah, I also didn't hate the Game of Thrones ending, like a lot of people kind of do. I don't think it was perfect. I don't think they stuck the landing. I think it has a ton of flaws. Black Sails nailed their ending. The ending was perfect. Like I said at the very beginning, you knew exactly where they were going. They had a starting point and an ending point, and they got there. And the story was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I mean, it absolutely deserves to be in the conversation of best show ever, without question.
I will have to agree with Kendra in the chat. His love for Silver. Flint's love for Silver. I completely forgot about that, but it's so huge. The respect, the care, the love. Yes. Was there romantic love? No. But it's the deep, good brother, sibling, friend, best friend love, Next one from Gary Perry. And again, we'll get to the super chat right after this. Gary Perry only started watching this because of you. Was expecting you to react to The Last Kingdom, but you did this instead. At first I was disappointed, but when I started to watch it, I grew to love it. We seem to have similar tastes in film and TV, so thanks for the push towards Black Sails. You are welcome! It was my choice. I pushed for Black Sails. I love pirates, so down for that.
Thank you, Gary.
Awesome username, by the way. Ragnar Lothbrok and Rollo versus Captain Flint and Captain Vane. No pistol allowed. Who wins? Ragnar.
I gotta go with the Vikings.
All day. Vikings to the death.
Vikings over pirates, I would say.
Correct. Juliet Cox. Heyo. Way back when you guys started to ask for shows to react to, Vikings and Black Sails were my only one, and now I'm so happy that you did both. My favorite character was Flint. Your reaction and comments on each episode were awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Juliet.
Thank you. Yes. I love Vikings. I mean, I have a cat named Uba.
We do have a cat named Uba.
Let's see here. Robin Lee Melendez. Agree with the other commenters. Your Black Sails reactions were some of the best. Thank you so much, Robin.
We can only have great reactions if the show's amazing.
Honestly. Rachel again. Thank you so much. What do you think of the fact that Silver never got a backstory?
I love it. I think it's so interesting.
Your mind can go wherever you want with him with that.
And the funny thing is, you don't even realize it until Flint says so in the final season.
Yes.
You're like, wait, holy shit, we don't know shit about him.
I don't know anything. I don't know nothing about Silver.
I think that is so amazing and makes him so unique as a character, because every other main character, we got history lessons on them. we got flashbacks, we got stories, we learned about Vane and what his upbringing was like. We got those flashbacks with Flint. We got the conversation with Jack and Woodes Rogers talking about his childhood. We've learned so much. We got all of that with Eleanor. We knew her father. Like, there was so much backstory with a lot of these other characters. And the fact that we got none of it with a character who just kind of showed up and became the most important dude in the show, essentially, I think that is so awesome. And again, I think it just calls to the unique storytelling that this show gives you.
Unique New York.
Yeah, that.
You're so loud right now.
I'm just fired up about this show because it's so awesome. And not everything needs a perfect bow to wrap it up. And the fact that John Silver, his beginning and end are kind of like very, very big talking points, because we're not sure how it started and we really don't know how it ended.
Right.
So it's one of those things where I actually really love that.
Next, Lewo, I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. Which ending do you believe? I think we answered that.
We've covered that, yeah.
But you know I love, and I just want to see them in love, living happily ever after till they get old and gray and die together.
I'm more the realist when it comes to the storytelling.
Shut your face. Rachel, again, would you consider Black Sails an LGBTQ? We added the plus. Friendly show. Would you recommend if someone was specifically asking for good examples of queer representation on TV? 100% yes. In a time like Pirates, where that was just not a thing, and they loved each other anyways. They know no shame.
Yeah.
I love that.
There were multiple relationships that I felt like...
Oh, yes! Max and Anne.
Yeah.
Hello?
Very good examples of it. And it's like, their love and their relationships were so passionate, and just, you wanted them to, you like were rooting for them to have positive outcomes. I mean, again, one of them is debated, and it feels like the Anne and Max relationship, obviously Jack's still around, but they're in a position to work on it.
But look at Max, look at Anne.
Oh, I mean...
The way Max loved Anne unconditionally.
Even Max and Eleanor at the beginning, before that whole thing went sideways.
Well, you could tell that was a transactional thing. That was not necessarily a... I don't think that was a deep love, like the deep love that Max and Anne had.
I think it could have, but again...
No, Eleanor had plans.
But that's what I'm saying. I think other ambitions got in the way of that relationship.
Eleanor was not in that relationship. I think she was in it for funsies, but that's not a real relationship. Max and Anne, Max loved Anne unconditionally. The way Jack loves Anne. Jack
I feel
loves
like
Anne unconditionally.
If you could find a person that looks at Anne the way Max looked at Anne, you'd be in a really good spot.
I think I look at you like that.
I think you do. People say that all the time. When I'm like rambling on and on and on and on and on and on
what else
and
am
on
I gonna do?
about these shows.
I'm gonna smack you.
So yeah, I think it's an amazing example. I think it's done very well. I think it's just really a beautiful part of the story. I think it is a very strong example.
Yes, and again, no shame, y'all.
Yeah.
Randy Moffat, what is the best way for someone to watch Black Sails?
This is interesting.
There really is two ways. Number one, how the writers promoted. The writers made it clear about the Treasure Island connection and talked about using real pirates, but fictional stories about them. It does mean some spoilers, but it also helps get through the first 3 episodes. Number two, how you guys watched it. Pretty much not knowing anything about where the story is coming from and where it is going. Spoiler free, it is good in some ways, but some things are missed. Like when Silver first appears, someone who knew about Treasure Island would have been shocked that this guy ends up as Long John. I've had friends try it both ways, and I can't say which is best. I liked not knowing anything. I don't like being disappointed by another story and be like, hey, wait, you left stuff out. I like the way we watched it.
Personally. I mean, obviously we can't really say which is better, but I absolutely loved the way we watched the show.
Well, no, I mean, it was a discussion right there. do you want to know a backstory and be disappointed because they're leaving some things out or adding things you didn't like? I like that. Okay, Hannah. Lots of love. Number 1, if a spin-off show was made, who would you pick as the main characters? 2, any top quotes aside from the classic "Fuck you, Jack." Flint. Oh, we added another one.
I think that's an impossible thing to answer.
Who would you pick as the main character on a spin-off?
Oh, I thought we were talking about quotes.
No, number 1 was if a spin-off show was made, who would you pick as the main characters?
I think it'd be interesting to have a whole show built around Teach.
And Silver. I think one for Silver.
I mean, getting a backstory on him would be interesting. But, like, Teach is a notorious, world-famous pirate.
That's true.
I would love to see a side story and just... I think he could carry it. The actor is amazing. He's been in so many things that we've watched, and it's hard to recognize him because beards add a very different look to a face. But yeah, I think I would pick Teach. I think Vane would be interesting. But yeah, I think if I had to pick one, it would probably be Teach.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
And
then
the quote thing.
"Fuck you, Jack" is all day.
I mean, the
all
quote.
Day.
Like, I put some thought into this. I actually even Googled, like, best quotes from Black Sails. There's no way I could pick one.
Oh, Jack had a good one with the breadcrumb, though.
The bread
to the rat.
That little monologue with the rodent was absolutely amazing. And it's just, like, such a powerful message behind it. Don't go for the crumb. Go for the whole loaf. Yeah. Like, that is just so epic. But I said it. I don't know how many times at this point. It's the best written show I've ever seen. The dialogue and the monologues that these characters have had and the conversations. I mean, anything from Flint and Silver were S tier. Unbelievable. Some of the greatest lines and stories and comments and quotes and just anything that I've ever seen in anything ever. It made any show that we were watching alongside it feel like it was written by kindergartners.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate because that's a harsh criticism. But Black Sails and the writing was just so amazing.
3, if you could have resurrected one character who died during the show, who'd you pick? A Teach.
I pick Vane.
Oh.
I pick Vane because I'd be really interested to see how he would have handled things towards the end.
Yes, I mean, okay.
Because he always...
I hate when you go first because I always change my answer.
I'm sorry.
Always. I'm like, yeah, well, you make a good point.
I'm sorry.
I'm real bad at this stuff because I'm so wishy-washy.
It's just one of those things where he always had such a strong plan. He always had such a strong conviction to what that plan needs to be. And just like some of my favorite, just him instituting a plan with the whole SEAL Team Vane and just like the way things played out with him.
Vane.
How just brutally honest he was. He was like no nonsense, no bullshit.
Yeah.
Well,
except for when it came to Eleanor. He put up with so much bullshit.
He never lied though.
No, he didn't lie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was up front. Like, he was on it. Like, in a world of dishonesty, he felt like the most honest person in the show.
Right, but no, he put up with so much of her bullshit and her lying.
Yeah. I just think it'd be really interesting to have him in the mix with the whole, like, Maroon Alliance, just everything that's playing out, his interactions with Rogers. Like, I just feel like there's a lot there that would have been super interesting. Just watching, like, the whole John Silver thing play out, like, the whole Billy stuff. Like, there's so much that played out. I think it would have been amazing to see what Vane's perspective would have been on it.
And 4, if you rewatch the show someday, which part of the show would be most excited to see again? And I think you know my answer.
I don't have an answer for that because I kind of want to see all of it again.
The way it unfolds is so good.
With just, like, the knowledge of what this show ends up being, I would love to watch that second season probably again. Just because I'm curious to see how many tells they are in terms of the relationship with Thomas and Flint. And that whole reveal was just, I feel bad about my reaction when I go back and watch that, because I'm just kind of sitting there just like, wait, like, if you were inside my brain,
the wheels turn faster
like,
over here.
It was definitely like everything was just working really hard in that moment. I understood what was happening.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I was just like, oh my God, that's huge.
Yeah.
That is such a big reveal that I don't even know how to handle it. And then I was just kind of like, oh my God, that's incredible. It was all like everything he was doing was all about the love for someone that we didn't realize he had a relationship with. Incredible. It was just tragic, incredible. And again, the reveals in this show are just, they're just like no other. So that's kind of something I probably want to go back and kind of see hints to, maybe somewhere in season 2.
You're so loud.
Sorry.
Eric Hutton, one of the reasons I love Black Sails so much is because of its philosophical undertones, specifically its commentary on how monster civilization can be and on the power of storytelling. Are there any philosophical lessons you feel like you've gained from watching the series?
I think, like, thinking about that question, that's a really powerful question. I think the biggest one for me was the idea of being able to put your differences aside, while it lasted, at least in this show,
for the greater
to work
good.
for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
When the Maroons and the Pirates came together, so different, completely different worlds, all living in different scenarios, and even the fact that the Pirates and the relationship with them were negative. A lot of them were responsible for them being in chains, just everything that went like into their history, and the fact that they were able to come together and fight. I am such a believer in just putting differences aside and respecting the person. And if you've got a common goal, then I think you could accomplish anything.
Yes.
And I think that was a really powerful moment, and I think that's a really powerful topic. I think there's a lot of that in this show, and I think that was the one that jumped out to me the most. Obviously, it was probably one of the more recent things that happened because it was in the final season, but that was it for me.
Okay, from Rachel again. Thank you again, Rachel. Flint with or without hair?
Oh.
Without.
Without.
Silver, bearded or clean shaven?
Bearded.
Vane, with clothes or without? With. It's not my thing.
Take that shit off, bro. You got this. Show off that six-pack abs.
Dude, he's six-pack and pecs for days, man.
I mean,
But-
he makes us all feel bad about ourselves because he's fucking ripped.
Honestly.
But
He done good, but nah. With clothes.
final Patreon comment.
Flint, on the other hand. Hey. Sorry. Jay, from both comments and the podcast, there is an interpretation that Flint is the character we'd all like to be, but Silver's the character we actually are.
This is very interesting.
Meaning, as much as we would all love to change the world, in reality, we're always going to put our own lives in that of our own loved ones first. What do you guys think of that interpretation? I agree.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a scenario ever where it was my family or something else,
There's always the family first.
you're not getting in the way of my wife and kids.
No.
Are you out of your damn mind?
True.
Like, hell nah.
I mean, Jay, that was a good one. You know what? All these questions, super awesome. Thank you guys so much for submitting them through our Patreon. Yes. I tell the kids all the time, you want to change the world. You want to do great things. You want to improve life for others. You want to do good in the world, but also make sure that you're safe first.
Yeah, for sure. And as we wrap up our Black Sails wrap party, we do have a few super chats that we need to hit up.
Yes.
And we won't wrap this up all the way until they're done. And it looks like we have 3, so let's check them out.
4. Lizzie, you need to refresh that.
Okay.
Is it refreshing? There it is. There's Lizzie. Okay. So, April, what is the most impactful message in the show for you, or what has the show taught you?
I think kind of what we just talked about. This idea that, if you're fighting for a common good, I think it's powerful to put your kind of differences aside, to create an alliance. if you think what you're fighting for is true and good, I think that's really important.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you.
And love above all.
Oh, no shame. No shame. I mean, come on, I have it on a shirt. No shame. Iron, question for both Nikki and Steve. If you were a pirate, what kind of pirate would you be?
I would probably be a lot like Charles Vane, to be honest.
You little slut.
If I lived in that world and that were the stakes and that's how things were, I'd be up front, I'd be honest, I'd be blunt, and I just probably wouldn't give a fuck.
I like the give
I'd be a
zero
proper
fucks
pirate.
thing. A proper pirate. There you go. I like the give zero fucks in Anne Bonny style.
Oh, I mean, Anne Bonny
Zero
was amazing.
fucks. I love
Anne
her.
was absolutely amazing.
So great. I mean, I wish I had the gall to get up and fight one of the dudes, but that's not me. But absolutely,
Dude, her
man.
scene when she had to fight that giant ass dude with the hammer.
She fucking jabbed that shit in so it wouldn't slip.
Anne Bonny is an absolute badass.
Love her.
I will never forget the name.
Hannah, let's see here. Some love, thank you. Also, fun thing to look up, Rackham's Razor. It's a short comic about Jack and Anne's first meeting, written by Jack's actor. Oh my God, Toby Schmitz.
Amazing.
I love that. Thank you, Hannah.
Very cool.
From Lizzie, favorite scene in the whole show. Mine is the one take shot after Vane drops his shackled hands to cue to Charlestown attack. My favorite show of all time. Thank you, Lizzie, so much. Ooh.
Favorite scene? That is so hard.
I mean, I can't.
I mean, we know
stop.
Nikki's favorite scene.
I can't stop talking about the end.
I mean, there's no question that that's your favorite moment, favorite scene.
Then when they embrace and kiss, everything.
If I had to pick one scene right now off the top of my head, I would probably pick the scene where Vane is talking to the audience when he's there to save Flint. That moment, which is I think what Lizzie's talking about, where the big fight at Charlestown starts, like his speech and he reveals the diary, like that was such an epic moment.
That was so good.
I almost want to pick Vane's death as well, because that felt like a huge deal. They were going to go save him. And he gave his whole speech there, and then he signaled Billy, like, don't let it play out.
Just don't do it.
And then Billy was just like, oh, no, it's going to be okay. This is the start of the revolution.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like those two scenes are just absolutely incredible.
Good questions, you guys. And so from Summer, why, hello there. Funny running into you here. I know. Thank you so much, Summer. Thank you guys for all the super chats. I love your faces. Thank you.
Amazing questions. Amazing show. This will, without question, and I think it'll hold up. I don't think there's going to be a lot of recency bias for this. I think this is going to hold for a long time.
Yes, pirates.
But the idea that this is one of the best shows of all time, there's, in my mind, there's no debate. There's no discussion. It deserves to be in that conversation. It deserves the Game of Thrones treatment.
Yes.
I don't know if it'll ever get there. I don't know if it's something that people will go back to one day, but it deserves that level of hype, because
I wish that we were watching this in real time when it first came out, so that we could have, provided some of that hype, because it's so damn good.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish I would have known about this. I had no idea.
There's legitimately, like, talking about it outside of saying maybe this first season is a little slow, which I personally don't believe. I think I understand why people say that, but there's so much world and character building and foundation that needs to be laid out for this story. I loved the first season. That's probably the only legitimate critique of this show. The stories, the characters, the way they wrote the show, the way they told the story, the flashbacks, the one episode with the daughter, I forget her name, where it was like the episode was voiced by her, was so good. It was it felt like a legitimately flawless piece of television.
Yes.
An amazing story, like told in like the most perfect way. And I'm beyond grateful. Like, I don't even care that it's like one of the lower viewed things on our channel, because it's not all about views.
No.
That show enhanced my
Yes.
my knowledge of what really good TV show writing is. Abigail Ash, thank you very much. That episode was so good. But this show legitimately heightened and kind of, it might actually ruin some things, to be honest, if we're being real. Because I don't know if there's anything that could live up to that.
That's tough.
The storytelling and the uniqueness to how they storied, like the way they weave flashbacks, and in that final season, I think one of my favorite flashbacks outside the Flint stuff from season 2, the conversation with Flint and Silver as Flint's teaching him how to fight.
Yeah.
And then the way that episode essentially wraps, or even kind of like that flashback sequence ends with them fighting for real. It's just such a perfect and unique way to tell that story.
That kind of actually made me sad that it came to this. But I feel like Flint knew that was happening.
Yeah.
He knew it was going to happen.
It's just, it's going to forever be an incredibly written show. The best written show from top to bottom. Always going to be one of my favorite shows without question. I'm just so grateful.
Yes.
And
Same.
That's going to wrap it up for the wrap party. I don't know if I could say anything else about this show. So we're just going to leave it there. And we'll